Honor is inapplicable to the facts of the case as already testified by the good mayor of Manila. Because the premise, Your Honor, of the ruling is that it will be an involuntary sale of the property or as a result of an expropriation. As the good counsel of the defense, the just compensation would not be deducted.
So, but anyway, whether a capital gains was due or not due, the fact is, and this is so far the fact that is understood by this court to be established, that the property was sold for 34,700,000, and that amount was paid for by check and received by Mrs. Cristina Corona in trust for Basa Guidote and placed under her control. So, whether there is a tax component of that amount, it doesn't matter because we're talking here of the quantum of assets and liabilities and net worth of a particular respondent.
Yes, Your Honor, and
So what's the materiality of all of this?
We agree, Your Honor. That's why we are objecting. It's not, it's immaterial, Your Honor, to the fact in issue in this case, as well as it is not applicable at all, Your Honor.
We are wasting our time in,
We agree, Your
in
Honor.
all of these things.
well, if the objection, Your Honor, is just as to the
Anyway,
effect of the document, we offer for admission, Your Honor, by the prosecution, the authenticity and due execution of the Bureau of Internal Revenue ruling number DA-095-2001 dated 22 May 2001 regarding the capital gains tax in relation to the property of the Basa Guidote Enterprises Incorporated.
All right, then,
Inc.
let us...
I have here, Your Honor, it has been pre-marked as our Exhibit 242 for the defense, and a copy of which is in the possession of the prosecution.
All right. This Senator from Iloilo. Senator Iloilo.
Mr. President, may I support the Senate's President's suggestion that this document be admitted in evidence. Whether or not it is applicable to the case is a matter that will be argued in the memorandum or in the oral arguments. But the fact is that this document exists so that we can dispense with this witness, Your Honor. We just admit it and let the conclusions be drawn by both parties or by each party when the memorandum comes.
Okay, we submit, Your Honor.
Well, what about the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. We are willing, Your Honor, to agree if the prosecution will admit the authenticity.
What about the prosecution?
We admit, Your Honor.
All right.
Does the prosecution likewise admit that this BIR ruling has not been superseded, amended, modified, or otherwise revoked by the Bureau of Internal Revenue?
We don't know. We don't know, Your Honor.
Or if you do not know, then the witness is here to testify. If you are going to admit, then we can dispense with the witness.
All right. This chair will ask the question. You are sworn. Do you know now about this ruling of the Bureau of Internal Revenue, which is being the subject of discussion in this proceeding?
Your Honor, based on the record...
Do you know?
Louder. Yeah.
Your Honor, this ruling was...
Do you know of this ruling?
Based
Yes.
on the records, Your Honor, yes.
All right. Then what is this ruling about?
This ruling exempts from capital gains tax the transfer of a real property which was acquired by the City of Manila through expropriation.
Why
from the
was
Basa
it? Why was it exempted?
The reason, Your Honor, is discussed in the ruling. It invoked the principle of involuntary conversion.
Why was it involuntarily disposed?
Because it was acquired through expropriation, Your Honor.
So that is the position of the Bureau of Internal Revenue, and as a consequence, you issued the ruling.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So what's the pleasure of the parties?
Your Honor, may we also ask the witness if this ruling has been superseded, modified, or revoked in any manner by the BIR?
Based on the records of our office, this ruling has not been revoked.
So what's the pleasure now of both parties?
Your Honor, we are willing to stipulate that the ruling was issued by the BIR and that its applicability only, as is stated in the ruling itself, is in case of expropriation of the subject.
In other words, we all admit here that Basa Guidote did not pay any capital gains tax on the sale of the property. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
How about the prosecution?
Yes, Your Honor.
How about the defense?
Yes, Your
All
Honor.
right, so ordered.
With the admissions entered into by the parties and the clarifications made by the witness, Your Honor, may we move that the witness be discharged?
The witness is discharged.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. Ibitan lang muna kasi Basa Guidote rin yun. Yung akin lang. Your Honor,
Yes,
at
please.
this juncture, we will call to the witness stand Mr. Noel Quintanar, a representative of the Fort Bonifacio Development Corporation.
For
the-
Bonifacio.
Yes, Your Honor, the seller of the property purchased by Juan Cristina R. Corona, which is Unit 1902 of the Bonifacio Ridge Condominium in Taguig.
Is this the Bellagio property?
No, this is the Bonifacio Ridge
All right.
property, Your Honor.
What is the purpose of the witness?
The purpose, Your Honor, is to prove that there was a delay in the delivery of the Bonifacio Ridge property, which is the real property number 4, reported in the statement Assets, Liabilities, and Net Worth of Chief Justice Corona as of December 31, 2010.
All right, what is the pleasure of the prosecution?
Your Honor, may we request that Attorney Hernandez be recognized for the prosecution.
Yes, granted.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Your Honor, similar to the evidence regarding the alleged delay of the acceptance of the columns unit, we feel our position is that the evidence on any delay in the delivery of the condo units is irrelevant. And I think the presiding officer already took this position. Whether or not there was any delay, as long as payments were already made, this already constitutes
So,
an
in other
asset.
words, you're saying for this, even if this witness testifies that there was a delay, search your testify.
Before the Honorable Court earlier.
The same comments on the part of the prosecution,
Proceed,
Your Honor.
proceed.
Mr. Witness, do you know the Fort Bonifacio Development Corporation?
Yes, from July 2008 to December 2010, I was the head of commercial operations of FBDC.
And as head of commercial operations, what are your functions? Briefly, Mr. Witness.
As head of commercial operations, I oversee the sale of real estate assets in Fort Bonifacio Development Corporation, one of which was the Bonnie Ridge condominium.
Okay, you mentioned the Bonnie Ridge. Is this the Bonifacio Ridge condominium of the Fort Bonifacio Development Corporation in Taguig?
Yes, that is.
What is the status of this commercial project of the corporation as of this date?
When I left Fort Bonifacio in 2010, the development had been fully sold, to my knowledge.
Okay. Now, based on your functions as the head of the commercial operations of this company, would you know who the purchaser of Unit 1902 of Bonifacio Ridge is? Who is the registered owner?
Based on the records of Fort Bonifacio, the owner of that unit is Mrs. Cristina Corona.
What record are you referring to specifically?
In our records, there is a deed of absolute sale.
If I show to you a copy of this deed of absolute sale, will you be able to identify the same?
I will be able.
It was already established that by the witness, and there's no objection, that they admitted that the owner of the unit is Mrs. Corona.
Yes, Your Honor.
What is the purpose of presenting another document to prove that he's the owner?
I am just going to confront him with Section 7 of the deed of absolute sale.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. I am showing to you the deed of absolute sale. This is the document which you referred to.
This is the document, sir.
The document, Your Honor, has also been marked by the prosecution as Exhibit UU, and we move that it be marked as our Exhibit 243. Your Honor, Mr. Witness, rather, Section 7 of this contract provides for the terms and conditions of acceptance of the unit by the purchaser. It states in part, the seller shall notify the purchaser in writing of the readiness of the unit for acceptance by the purchaser and delivery by the seller to the purchaser of the same. My question is, when did Fort Bonifacio Development Corporation notify Mrs. Cristina Corona about the readiness of the unit for acceptance and delivery?
Based on our records of that unit, that the purchaser was notified sometime in the year 2005.
May I pose this question? On or before that date, did the purchaser pay any consideration for the unit?
Usually before we would...
No, I am asking you a pointed question. Did your record show that the buyer, on or before the date you mentioned, the unit was paid for?
Your Honor, based on our records, the unit had been paid for by
So
the time.
it was paid for. The only thing material here is when it was delivered and accepted by the owner.
Yes, Your Honor.
Values had passed from her to the seller.
Based on our record, yes, Your
All
Honor.
right. Proceed.
So what happened during this inspection for the turnover and delivery of the unit to Mrs. Corona?
Well, as in most turnover processes, there was a punch list executed between the purchaser and the seller, which basically identified the various deficiencies or complaints or things that had to be repaired from the perspective of the purchaser, and this was usually agreed on by the seller, in this case, Fort Bonifacio Development Corporation.
So in other words, there were punch lists containing defects pointed out by the unit purchaser to the developer.
Yes, that's correct.
And what was the action taken by Fort Bonifacio Development Corporation regarding these issues on the construction of the unit, as pointed out by Mrs. Cristina Corona in the punch list?
Well, these punch list items were addressed by FBDC based on whether these were in fact part of the sort of deficiencies created or that appeared because of construction or during construction. And we would repair these items as a part of our after-sales service.
And were the repairs actually performed by the developer in this
Yes.
case?
These repairs were, the repairs were prepared over a period of time. Of course, each time we would repair, it would require that the purchaser accept these rectifications.
And Mr. Witness, what was the response of Mrs. Corona to the actions taken by Fort Bonifacio Development Corporation?
The turnover process was somewhat extended, and one of the responses of Mrs. Corona was, while the repairs were being completed, she contested whether she was liable for the payment of association dues to the condominium association.
So did the turnover actually transpire?
There was a conditional turnover sometime in 2006, but nonetheless, when she was assessed condominium dues on that unit, she wrote FBDC that these dues, the assessment from the condominium corporation, should be carried or should be to the account of the developer.
Mr. Witness, before the acceptance by Mrs. Corona of that condominium unit, how much was the total payment for the consideration, the total price of the unit? If you know.
If I may refer to the deed of absolute sale,
Go ahead.
Your Honor.
Fully paid na. The witness, Your Honor, going over the deed of absolute sale, may it be reflected in the record.
Your Honor, the purchase price in the deed of absolute sale was 9,159,940 pesos, Your Honor.
That was the cash out from the pocket of the Coronas to acquire that unit.
Yes, Your Honor, based on
All
our
right,
record.
so they paid that already
Yes, Your Honor.
to get a unit.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead, proceed.
Mr. Witness, this response of Mrs. Cristina Corona to Fort Bonifacio Development Corporation for a conditional turnover of the property and a waiver of the association dues, is this response in writing?
Yes, that there was a letter that we received to that effect
Coming from,
from Mrs. Corona.
if I show to you a copy of this letter, will you be able to identify the same?
I would be able to.
I am showing to you a letter dated January 2, 2006 to Bonifacio Ridge Condominium by one Cristina R. Corona. Is this the letter that you refer to?
Yes, based on our records, this is the letter.
Hindi pa. The prosecutor, Your Honor, is going over the letter. May we request, Mr. Witness, on the second page of this letter, on the bottom portion is the name of Cristina Corona and a signature on top of the name. Would you be able to identify the signature appearing below?
Yes, the signature is consistent with the signature we find on the deed of absolute sale
Of
of Mrs. Corona.
Your Honor, just a manifestation, the document presented by the defense is a photocopy.
Mr.
Never mind. Are you doubting the authenticity of that photocopy?
Well, if the original is in their possession, we would like to see the original.
Do you have a copy of the original of this letter
I can secure it from our records.
to
Subject to future presentation, Your Honor.
All right.
may we request, Your Honor,
Proceed.
that the letter be marked as our Exhibit 244 and the name and signature of Mrs. Cristina Corona appearing on page 2 be bracketed and marked as our Exhibit 244-A.
May I just clarify another point? If Mrs. Corona did not accept the unit, even though they already paid 9 million plus pesos for it, would there have been a rescission of the contract and a return of the consideration paid for by the Coronas for the unit?
That's a situation, Your Honor, which I'm not familiar we've ever encountered before, but I guess if the contract could not be completed, there would possibly be such a return of the consideration and a return of the unit.
But the fact that at the time that the question regarding the acceptance of the unit was pending resolution, there was already a value paid for by the Coronas for that unit.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, proceed.
And so, Mr. Witness, having received this letter from Mrs. Corona, what was the response of Fort Bonifacio Development Corporation?
Well, our response, which was conveyed through our marketing agent, Ayala Land, was that as we rectified the items on the punch list, we would be prepared to shoulder the costs of the association dues for that particular unit.
And was this response reduced in writing?
Yes, it was.
I am showing to you a letter from Ayala Land Incorporated dated September 5, 2006, addressed to a Cristina R. Corona, owner of Unit 1902 Spanish Bay Bonifacio Ridge Condominium. Is this the letter that you refer to?
By the way, Counsel, what is the purpose of this line of questioning?
Your
Are you
Honor,
trying to say that, are you justifying the non-inclusion of the unit as an asset in the SALN of the respondent?
Your Honor, for clarification, the unit was reported in the Statement of Assets, Liabilities, and Net Worth of the Chief Justice in 2010,
And not before?
and not before.
What was reported before with respect to that transaction?
There was no report, Your Honor, with respect to that transaction, and it is our theory that at
There
that...
was no reported value in the previous SALN of the Chief Justice with respect to that transaction because the unit was not yet accepted.
Yes, Your Honor, that is the reasoning for the non-inclusion of the purchase at that point in time until 2010, Your Honor.
Yes, but did not the accountant of the Chief Justice consider that value that passed from the family, the Mrs. Corona, to the seller of the unit as a receivable?
Unfortunately, Your Honor, there was no accountant who assisted the Chief Justice at the time, Your Honor. So, to answer the question, it is possible that he was not guided by an accounting expert
All right.
during this
all right.
particular time.
I will not press that question. That will be a material consideration. So
Yes, Your
proceed.
Honor. Yes, Your Honor. We request that the letter identified by the witness be marked as our Exhibit 245. Mis-
with the same manifestation, Your Honor, that the document presented and confronted is a photocopy.
Mr. Witness, the letterhead of this document is Ayala Land Incorporated, and the seller is Fort Bonifacio Development Corporation. Would you know the reason for the disparity?
Yeah, Fort Bonifacio is a very specific development project which is not, which is very limited in scope. And Fort Bonifacio basically engaged Ayala Land as its marketing agent in its real estate assets in that development in Bonifacio Global City.
Mr. Witness, in this document, the name of Jocelyn U. Villacruz's Customer Relations Officer appears, and there is a signature on top of the name. Would you be able to recognize whose signature this is?
Yes, this is Joe's signature, and prior to this hearing, I again verified that this was in fact a letter she signed.
Are you familiar with the signature of Mrs. Villacruz?
I am.
And so what happened after this letter was issued by Ayala Land?
Well, again, we continued to address the items on the punch list. But in 2007, again, Mrs. Corona was assessed for association dues for that particular unit, but because of, I think there was a typhoon that hit the country at the time, there were some recurring problems in terms of water leaks, and we had to continue repairing some of those items.
Mr. Counsel, can you not stipulate on this that there was never any reflection of this unit prior to 2010 SAL-N of the Chief Justice, because the unit was not accepted by the family? And I think this is no longer an issue. That's already fully established that there was a refusal to accept it. Cannot the prosecution accept this as a matter of fact?
We're willing to stipulate
Because of a dispute regarding its quality. There's already an admission on the part of the defense that value passed from the Coronas to the seller to acquire the property.
If the prosecution, Your Honor, will make the admission
until the year 2010
Yes, there
because
were-
of defects.
because of the continuous repair until finally the defects were addressed, and so the turnover was made, and then in 2010 the Chief Justice made the report of the
Yeah.
property in Isalen.
The chair and this court understands the factual situation with respect to this property to be this: that there was a contract to buy a unit, a condominium unit by the Coronas from the what's the name of the seller?
Fort Bonifacio Development
Fort
Corporation.
Bonifacio Development, on an agreed price of 9 million plus, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then that consideration was paid for. Money was passed from the pocket of the Coronas to the Fort Bonifacio
Yes, Your Honor.
in exchange for a potential transfer of a unit to the Coronas, which was not accepted prior to 2010.
Yes, Your Honor.
So that is the factual situation. Why can you not stipulate this?
Yes, Your Honor. We would
So
stipulate
that
that fact.
there will be no more problem about all of this discussion and questions and answers about Jews and so forth and so on. These are irrelevant to this impeachment trial.
We so stipulate, Your Honor. We'd just like to know if there is an actual turnover document which dates the actual transfer to 2010.
The letter of Mrs. Corona was explicit in saying that the turnover was conditional. The condition being the repairs made by the developer. And after the repairs were completed, then Mrs. Corona accepted the unit in full and reported the property in the 2010 SALN.
Your Honor, that's the problem. We would be willing to make the stipulation, but there's no document proving that it was indeed accepted in 2010. The letter being referred to is dated 2006.
The witness will actually testify on the point. So the offer of the presiding officer.
Does it matter, counsel, for the prosecution whether the asset involved is a condo or money between those periods? Will it matter?
It will not matter.
All
We will
right.
stipulate, Your Honor.
Come on.
Will the prosecution therefore admit the point that the turnover of the property took place in 2010 and that Mrs. Corona thereafter
If that is the manifestation that that would be the testimony of this witness, we would stipulate.
Thank you, counsel. In which case, to abbreviate, Your Honor, may we request that the Bonifacio Ridge assessment letter for the homeowner's dues dated May 9, 2007 be marked as our Exhibit 246, the response of Mrs. Corona to the said assessment dated August 1, 2007 be marked as our Exhibit 247, the inspection report for Unit B 1902 dated October 7, 2008 executed by Engineer Benedicto Macabenta of the Spanish Bay Bonifacio Ridge Condominium be marked as our Exhibit 248.
Mark them accordingly. Now, may I suggest that both panels will submit a written evidence of your stipulation of fact on this particular property.
Your Honor, we will adopt exactly what will appear in the transcript of stenographic notes that will be provided for us tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. Is that understood, no?
Yes, Your Honor.
We are talking of assets, liabilities, and net worth. Whether the asset is in kind or in cash or in securities or whatnot, tangible or intangible, we are talking of assets. We are talking of liabilities. And we are talking of net worth in the salad. And it's mandated by the Constitution that assets, liabilities, and net worth must be reported, declared under oath. Okay?
With the admissions entered into by the parties with regard to the testimony and documentary evidence identified by this witness, Your Honor, we move that the witness be discharged.
Any objection? The witness is discharged.
Witness na si Noel Quintana, representative ng Fort Bonifacio Development Corporation. Ito yung patungkol
on the issue of the quashal of the subpoena on Secretary De Lima. Naghain po kami ng motion na i-quash ang subpoena kay Secretary De Lima dahil sa paniwala po namin na delay ang resulta nito. ayon po mismo sa request for subpoena ng defense, ang lahat ng pwede nilang or gusto nilang itanong kay Secretary de Lima, ayon mismo sa request nila, ay natanong na po. And in fact, they were given all opportunities to ask these questions during the 2 days. 2 days po na nag-cross-examine sila kay Secretary de Lima. Ngayon po, hindi naman namin iniisip na ang depensa ay may iba pang itatanong at minislead ang impeachment court sa tunay na purpose ng pagpatawag nila kay Secretary de Lima. We do not suspect that. Ngayon po, ang sabi namin, ang korte may discretion na i-deny siyempre ang motion o request for subpoena kung tingin ng korte irrelevant yung testimony, immaterial o pampahaba lang ng kaso. In fact, may mga subpoena na na-deny ang korte. Katulad nun, may Supreme Court na driver na pumunta dito, willing naman mag-testify. Pero ginrant ng korte ang request ng Supreme Court na hindi sila isubpoena. At may poder ang korte whether or not to grant or to deny the request. Ganon din po sa clerk of court. Willing naman ang clerk of court. In fact, the clerk of court has appeared here previously. Pero ang problema noon, nabulatlat yung salen, so nung na-request ang subpoena niya ng Article 17, hindi na po siya napayagang mag-testify dahil sa sabi ng Korte Suprema, bawal mag-testify sa korteng ito ang mga personnel ng Korte Suprema. Ngayon po, ang tanong po namin ay, nakita po namin kasi itong sulat ni Secretary de Lima at nagsasabi po siya dito na she is, of course, opposing the motion, the subpoena, the request for subpoena of the defense. Pero po may sinabi po siya dito.
What is the date of that letter?
This is May 7 po, 2012.
Today.
Today po.
Alright.
Sinabi niya po dito, this is however without prejudice to the undersigned's continuing sentiment regarding the propriety of her recall to the witness stand, as well as her appeal for her rights to such witness under Section 3. This is for the impeachment court to decide whether or not they will continue with the grant of the subpoena or withdraw it. It's for the court to decide. The court has mentioned in so many times that it wishes to avoid collision with other co-equal branches. However, I'd like to go to the other part of the letter, Your Honor. In line with this, the undersigned respectfully requests clarification on the intended scope of the defense panel's examination of the undersigned, and also whether they intend to treat the undersigned as an unwilling or hostile witness. So, ngayon po, ang tanong lang po namin, may nabanggit na po ba ang defense panel kung ano po ang scope ng kanilang examination? Kasi ang sabi po namin sa prosekusyon at sabi rin ni Secretary de Lima, lahat po na yan at testify ko na yan eh. Ano pa ba ang pwede kong sabihin dito? Baka 2 araw na naman po na hindi ko pa nasabi or wala silang oportunidad na matanong nung panahong nag-testify po siya. In fact, hindi pa rin po pwedeng i-claim ni Chief Justice Corona that he is deprived of due process rights. Hindi po. Ang Korte Suprema po, in fact, nung winidhold ang mga witnesses from the Supreme Court, wala talaga kaming opportunity to ask them. Kasi hindi talaga sila pumunta dito. Kami po sa prosecution, napresenta si Secretary de Lima, wala po kami intensyong itago, walang tinatago si Secretary de Lima. In fact, nag-appear na siya. Ang hiningi lang po ni Secretary de Lima at ng prosecution, ano pa po ba ang gagawin at pang-delay na lang ito ang pag-testify niya? Kasi ayon po sa request, these are the same issues discussed. So ang hiningi na lang po namin, baka may gusto pang itanong ang depensa, ang depensa, na hindi nila naitanong o hindi sila pinayagan ng korteng itanong noon, na gusto nilang itanong kay Secretary de Lima, ayon po sa tanong ni Secretary de Lima. I'd like to ask for a clarification on that, Your Honor, if they've answered the question of 1, the intended scope of the defense panel's examination of Secretary de Lima, and also whether they intend to treat the
Are you
undersigned.
asking for a reconsideration of the ruling of this court?
Well, Your Honor, under
No, I'm
your...
asking you.
Yes, Your Honor, if there is a senator who is willing to move for a reconsideration, of course, we would be very happy because that's natural. That is our motion. And secondly, Your Honor,
Well, then you ask first, there's a senator who asked for a reconsideration because I cannot allow a waste of time in discussing this. The chair has already ruled.
Actually, Your Honor,
The proper procedure is, and I understand where you are coming from,
thank you po.
to ask somebody to make a motion for reconsideration.
Actually po, nasa judgment ng Senator, ang hiningi ko lang po, may tanong po, nalinaw na po ba ng depensa?
All right, if
kung
if the defense wants to explain why they want the Secretary of Justice to come back and be their witness, please say so.
If Your Honor, please, Joel Boligan for the defense.
Yes, please.
By way of reply, I believe the rules define the proper time for us to make, to manifest to this court the purpose of the testimony that we would elicit from the witness. Not at this time. We are wasting the time of this court by manifestations like this.
All right.
Your Honor, if I may, actually, kung sa manifestation lang lugi kami sa defense, araw-araw, marami silang manifestation. But anyway, Your Honor, ang tingin namin po, yung request for subpoena, hindi ka po pwedeng mag-mislead dyan. Kasi nung nagdesisyon ang impeachment court at ang Senate President for that matter, siyempre tinignan niya po kung may relevance.
I assure you, Mr. Counsel, for the prosecution, that this court cannot be misled.
Yes, Your Honor.
We are as intelligent as you are.
That's what I also presume, Your Honor. But they are now saying that they have certain purposes
It is not
that they did not...
It is not the presumption. We are elected by the Filipino people because they think we are intelligent enough to protect their interests.
Yes, Your Honor. My point being, however, Your Honor, is that meron pala silang mga purpose na hindi nila sinabi dito sa atin. And I'm sure that when the court decided to grant the request, tiningnan nila ang validity, ang relevance, ang materiality ng request. Ngayon po, kung hindi po pala yun ang intensyon nila at may iba pala silang purpose, sana naman na-apprise yung impeachment court para makadecide ng impeachment court kung relevant pa nga bang testimony o hindi
Do you
po.
know their intention?
Ang intention po nila nakalagay sa request nila. Ang tanong ko lang po, yun pa ba ang intention nila?
Sinagot ka na eh.
Ang sagot po nila, may intention po silang iba.
The
pero
request
sa-
of the gentleman is denied.
Well, thank you, Your Honor, but
Thank you,
we
Your
hope
Honor.
that the clarification later on for the purposes, we will reserve our objection, of course, to any new purpose that they will state during the offer of testimony of Secretary De Lima. Thank you, Your Honor.
Counsel for the defense, call your next witness.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Senate President. Attorney Lichauco, we're calling our next witness, Ms. Annalyn Moises, who is the records keeper of, records officer of the City of Manila. But just to abbreviate the proceedings, Your Honors, if you can make a stipulation, because she's really just being presented to... Well, she's being presented for the purpose of authenticating certain documents as far as the Basa Guidotti transaction.
What are those documents?
Yes, Your Honor, maybe they can just enumerate, then we can react thereafter.
What are those documents to be authenticated?
Ordinance number 7975, which was pre-marked as Exhibit 227. The deed of sale between the Basa Guidotti Enterprise, Inc. and City of Manila.
I think that is not in issue anymore, a factual issue.
Yes, I mean,
Is there any dispute about this?
I don't
Just-
think so, Your Honor. I don't even think if our good witness here can do any better than that of the good mayor. Because what she may have to testify to today must have been taken up already lengthily by our good mayor. But most especially pertaining to the documents being adverted to.
Your Honor, the previous witness, the counsel for the prosecution was questioning that
some documents or Xerox copies. Now we are presenting certified true copies, so it won't be questioned anymore.
Well, if only for the certification of these documents already marked.
What is the point in this authentication? It is already a fact and admitted that there was a transaction between the City of Manila and the Basa Guidote. In fact, it is also established into the record that money passed from the City of Manila to the seller, Basa Guidote, represented, according to the presentation of the defense and the government of the City of Manila, that transacted the Basa Guidote Corporation, and that we have been discussing for days and weeks, about 34.7 million consideration for that transaction. What else more is needed to establish that fact?
So, Your Honor, if you're willing to admit that there exists a ordinance authorizing the supposed purchase and supposedly there is a absolute deal sale.
If there is a defect in the sale, it's impertinent, immaterial, irrelevant in this proceeding.
Okay, Your Honor. So,
Go ahead.
which case, Your Honor, then if there is no issue at all, then we can call our next witness.
Yeah, call
And
your
discharge.
next,
Your Honor,
call your next witness.
thank you.
We'd like to call Miss Efleda Castro. She is the Manila Market Administrator.
May we just know the purpose or purposes she's being
So
offered?
that the City of Manila is in possession, they are deriving income therefrom.
There's no question
There is
about
no
that
question
already.
on that.
It has been solved.
You can stipulate on those.
What is the
on these two
materiality of
particular aspects?
just a minute? What's the materiality of this kind of evidence in this impeachment trial?
Your Honor, because they may be questioning the transfer of ownership, the turnover, and who is actually
That
in
is
possession.
immaterial to this court, whether the property was transferred or not. There was a transaction, whether that is void, immaterial, there is a transaction, money passed from the City of Manila to Mrs. Cristina Corona.
So they stipulate, Your Honor. No problem.
We agree on the observation of the presiding officer. If only as to question of possession, there will be no quarrel with us.
Okay.
But as to other purposes, we
No,
agree
we
that they are
are-
immaterial. Your Honor.
What I'm trying to avoid is we're cluttering this proceeding with so many collateral, irrelevant, immaterial issues. We're wasting time.
Who's next? Who's next? Meron pa ba tayo?
Please go direct to the point so that we can finish this case. Present the defense of the respondent.
Your Honor, we have other witnesses who are supposed to have been scheduled for tomorrow. They arrived earlier. If you would give us a short break, I would check if they're still available, and I will present more
Session
witnesses.
suspended for
10 to 15 minutes, Your Honor.
15 minutes.
Thank you very much.
Mahabang suspension po ito at nakikita po natin ang tinatahak na mukhang polisiya ng ating presiding officer na gusto niyang madaliin.
halos lahat ng ipipresenta nila. So sa tingin namin, kami nasisiyahan sa progreso po ng ating paglilitis dahil halos 2 oras at nakapag-examine na ho tayo ng 4 na testigo. So maganda ho yung patakbo ngayong araw at sana patuloy po ito. So ready ho kaming tumanggap ng inyong mga tanong.
Good afternoon, sir. Dennis from Bombo Radio. Question ko, sir. Totoo ba na tinanggal nyo na yung plano nyo sa rebuttal sa after nitong presentation of evidence ng defense?
Hindi totoo na tinanggal ang rebuttal. Pinag-aaralan pa rin namin. Depende nga sa ebidensya na inihaharap ng depensa yan, no? Sa ngayon, sa nakikita nga po namin, walang kadahilanan na kailangan magkaroon ng rebuttal. Sa nakikita nga po natin mga testigo, yung huli, sabi nga ni Senate President Enrile, what is the relevance, no? It had already been admitted, so they are already nearing the end. They've reached the bottom of the barrel nga, sabi nga po namin sa kanilang mga testigo. At sa tingin po namin, yung storya na gusto nilang mapinta, malabo pa rin hanggang ngayon, no? So, kung wala nang iba, kung talagang ayaw nila iharap si Chief Justice Corona, sabihin na nila para matapos na, we can all move on. Sabi nga, kakatapos lang nga yung PBA kahapon, dribble ng dribble hanggang ngayon, no? Panahon pa ng Mayo, prosesyon. Kaya haba-haba ng prosesyon, sa simbahan pa rin ang punta. At the end of the day, it's Chief Justice Corona. Now, if they don't like to present Chief Justice Corona, then they face the consequences of how they will explain the evidence that we've presented. They have not really shown any evidence to dispute the evidence that the prosecution had presented.
Sir Stephanie Yongkiko, Solar News. Sir, may final po ang defense na motion to inhibit for Senator Angara. Sir, yung reaction niyo po on that? Ano po yung masasabi po natin doon na pinag-i-inhibit nila si Senator Angara doon sa pagdating po ng decision-making time na?
Well, I believe that both Senator Angara and Congressman Angara have two different minds, and they've shown it, no? In the different positions they've taken in the past, no? And I think it is unfair to both, no? To both Representative Sani Angara and Senator Ed Angara to impute that since they are father and son, that they would be deciding one single way. We have to take note that si Rep Sani did not accept to become prosecutor in the case. So because of that complication, but there's nothing wrong with becoming a spokesperson. Spokesperson is just explaining what transpires inside the impeachment tribunal session court, no? So it's just I think a desperate move by the defense, no, to try to impute certain malicious thoughts, no, in the people's minds that both Senator Angara and Rep Sani Angara don't have the independent mind needed to make certain decisions.
Siguro parang dagdag na lang doon is ba't ngayon lang, no? Yung ang tagal na natin nandito. Since January 16, we've been here. As early as December 12, na-transmit na dito yung articles of impeachment. Bakit ngayon lang? Ang designation ni Congressman Angara as spokesperson nangyari nung Disyembre pa. So, bakit ngayon lang na patapos na? Katakataka yung timing nung motion to inhibit. Tila parang tingin namin second ambush, no? Inantay muna nila
na tingnan nila yung bilang pagdating sa boto at iisa-isahin nila. Sinimulan po nila noon kay Senator Drilon. But this particular motion is certainly filed at a time which you feel like is very suspicious. They could have filed it early on. They should have filed it early on. Huwag nilang sabihin sa atin na ngayon lang nila napansin o ngayon lang may ebidensya, because the bulk of the argument is really on blood relations. That relationship has been there from the beginning. If they suspected it, then they should have done so at the onset. And you cannot say also that Senator Angara has been performing in a manner that is biased. If I was looking at the transcript today, in fact, if there was any time that Senator Angara was asking questions, it was all pointed critical of the prosecution, kung titingnan po natin. So, we don't see any reason why it's only being done now, except for the fact that obviously they had been planning to do it. They were just looking to do it at a time when it's going to appear like really it's going to be an ambush. Panghuli siguro is, if we use that as a basis, the reasons for which they cited, there are other members of the Senate impeachment court that should likewise be asked to inhibit. You have the Senate pro tempore, Senator Jingo Estrada, whose brother, Congressman J.B. Ejercito, is likewise a complainant. You also have the Senate President himself. His son is a member of Congress and is likewise a complainant. So, if this will be the basis, then wala na pong matitira dyan, ano? This is a political process. We have to remember that. It's not like a judicial proceeding na, ito, pinag-uusapan din namin nila, San, even at the onset, is that this is not a judicial proceeding where they're trying to apply the rules on inhibition, na pwede kang, pag ang isang judge nag-inhibit, maraming pwedeng ipalit dyan. There are rules of succession or replacement. You have a pairing judge, you have an executive judge, na pwede mong ipalit. If we are to entertain this particular motion today, who will be next? Iisa-isahin nila yan at wala nang matitira. Sa tingin nga po namin, if there's any party that should have filed for an inhibition, kami yun, kasi ang tagal na namin nakakastigo dito, no? At madalas wala sa lugar. Pero we have taken it on the chin because it is a political process. You cannot replace them when they inhibit, and you compel them to inhibit, and if they do so, there is no replacement mechanism. Paano natin ma-reach yung 1/3 o yung 2/3 number na yon? Babalik na naman ba tayo sa Supreme Court? Are they laying the foundations for questions later on to bring it to the Supreme Court? Parang gano'n na naman po yung design, no? Na nakikita po namin. At siguro, yung pinakakwan dyan is, I think we've said from the onset, when we faced that question, as early as 3 months ago. Sinabi na po natin yan. You look at the records of the senator and the congressman, they have had divergent views on the impeachment of GMA. Si Congressman Sani was in favor of it. You look at the value-added tax, Congressman Sani was against it, opposed to the position of the father. There are many other divergent positions. So, sana noon pa kung totoong sincero itong inhibition motion na ito.
Pilit nilang dinidiin kasi yung mga puntong nais nilang talagang tumatak sa isipan natin, mga kababayan.
Mapapansin po natin na kahit medyo hindi na i-focus ito
Yung sa BIR, okay? Si Kadangin, ano po? At ito po ay pinakita na meron po ditong opinyon ng BIR na nagsasabi na hindi po kailangan bayaran ng tax capital gains ang bentahan ng lupa sa lungsod ng Maynila at ng Basagidote. Ang pangatlo po ay makikita niyo ay si Mr. Quintanar. At dito po, napakahalaga po na napatunayan dito kay Mr. Quintanar. Sinabi po na yung mga difficulties o yung problema na ni-raise ng pamilya Corona sa condominium unit ay dahilan para pa po hindi ideklara yon sa SALN. Kaya po, ito ay nadeklara lamang sa 2010 at ito po ay inadmit ng kabilang panig. So napakaganda po sa amin noon. Yung sinasabi niyo po, yung dalawa, siguro po, kaya sinabi yon ni Senate President, sabi niya, hindi naman na tinatanong kung nagkaroon ng bentahan o hindi. Okay na siya doon. Mukhang kumbinsido na sila. Yung fact ng ordinansa, siguro sa kanya hindi na ganun kaimportante. Yun lang talaga intention doon, ma-stipulate na merong ordinansa na inalaw yung bentahan. Yung ikahuli po, na siguro, binigay na rin ng aming kasama na para na rin nga hindi humaba dahil nga pag pinilit namin sasabihin humaba, is in connection with the Basagidote pa rin po. Ito po yung sino po ang may possession o presently may hawak ng lupa na tinutukoy doon. So, yun po. So, hindi po kami nababahala dahil maliwanag po naman lahat so far ang aming napapaliwanag sa mga testigo.
Sir, we'll ask for confirmation regarding the motion to inhibit which you filed against Senator Angara.
Ngayong hapon po, ang defense team ay nag-file ng isang motion to inhibit which was addressed to Senator Judge Edgardo J. Angara. Ayaw muna sana namin pag-usapan yung merito nito sapagkat alam naman po natin na mariin po na tinututulan ng Senate Impeachment Court na ang mga spokespersons o kung sino man po ay pag-usapan yung mga bagay na tinatalakay o hindi pa natatalakay doon sa paglilitis. Ngunit i-confirm ho namin na talagang nag-file ho kami ng motion for inhibition. Well, it's a motion for inhibition, so yung grounds ho namin will really rest solely to the sound discretion of the Senator Judge. Pero dito po, malinaw po na ni-raise namin na yung possibility of yung situation of a conflict of interest. Pangalawa po na may mga pagkakataon na kami po ay naniniwala na yung mga grounds dun sa disqualification ay present, no? As to dun sa mga specific grounds, siguro ho mas maganda kung bigyan laya ho muna natin yung si Senator Angara na makasagot before po sana namin tatalakayan. Sapagkat ngayon lang po talagang naging malinaw yung mga grounds, no? At yung mga facts, yung mga dokumento at yung mga ebidensya na sa tingin namin ay magpapatunay dito sa aming motion ay ngayon lang po talaga nagkaroon ng linaw at ngayon lang rin po namin siya i-final. Hindi po totoo yan. Minsan po hindi po namin gagawin yan sapagkat unang-una po nais ko lang po sanang linawin. Napakataas po ng pagtingin namin kay Senator Angara, ganun din po kay Congressman Sani Angara. Hindi po minsan pumasok sa aming isipan namin sapagkat kami po naniniwala na ang interes po ng aming kliyente ang kailangan mangibabaw at ang hindi po yung personal naming mga opinion.
Sir, can you elaborate on the budget for Aurora na connected dun sa motion to inhibit nyo? Kasi nag-react na dun yung prosecution.
Oo, siguro po hindi na kami magsasalita dyan. Sapagkat katulad nga po ng sinasabi namin sa inyo, sa taas po ng aming paggalang sa kanila, ay ito po ay nais namin pag-usapan dun sa loob ng impeachment court at ayaw po namin ito gamiting propaganda, no? Ayaw po namin ito gamiting balita laban po sa kanila sapagkat kami po naniniwala na dapat din po silang bigyan ng pagkakataon na makasagot dito sa aming motion.
Sir, sumagot na nga po si Congressman Angara. Sinasabi niya yung father and son relationship ay napakatagal na. Pero bakit ngayon lang na-file yung inyong motion to inhibit?
Well, nire-respeto po namin yung katugunan na yan. Hintayin na lang po natin yung kapasyahan ni Senator Angara.
Sir, isasalang nyo yan ngayon sa impeachment court?
Ito po sinumiti na namin. Ngayon, kung tatalakayin po ito ng senator judges, yan po wala po over the manner of the proceeding.
Oo, yun nga isa namin dadagdag sana na yung motion to inhibit ay naka-address doon mismo sa Senator Judge. So, meron din discretion dito si Senator Judge Angara kung mag-inhibit siya or hindi.
How will this affect the position of the senator?
Oo. Nung nangunumpa ang mga senator judges na maging, yung mga senators na maging senator judges dito sa impeachment court, isa dun sa mga requirement ng batas ay mag-render sila ng judgment first with impartiality, impartial justice, meaning na dapat ang konsiderasyon lang dito ay ang batas at ang ebidensya. Pangalawa, that they are required to exercise political neutrality at all times, which means na dapat yung mga political party affiliations nila ay hindi maging konsiderasyon sa pagdesisyon nila sa anumang bagay dito sa impeachment. Kasama na yan kung kunwari merong na-file na motion to inhibit kay Senator Judge Angara, dapat hindi niya iisipin kung ano yung political affiliation niya, kung magdedesisyon siyang mag-inhibit dito or hindi. At palagay naman namin gagawin niya yon kung magdesisyon siya dito.
Sir, kay Attorney Tranquil. Sir, may pronouncement po report na sinasabi nyo baka less than 10 na lang yung magiging testigo nyo. Kung masasabi po natin 5 sa ngayon, ang naipresenta natin, masasabi ba natin sa loob ng linggong ito tatapusin na ng depensa yung
Depende po
pagpresenta
kung
ng
gaano
testigo?
nga kabilis. Kasi lagi na, we always have to consider yung mga oras na magtatanong ang mga senator judges at ang prosecution in terms of cross-examination. Hindi po tayo magugulat, lagi nga na sinasabi ko, kung baka sa linggong ito, kung mabilis talagang pagpipresenta, matapos. Or kung tamang-tama lang po, baka next week. Yun po ay depende sa mga testigo. Kasi minsan, pag yung testigo ay sa tingin nila, maganda naming tanungin, maganda mga issues dito, hindi natin sila mapipigilan. Pwedeng ipresenta namin sila ng 1 oras lamang or 45 minutes, pero nakasalang po yan para tanungin ng mga 3-4 na oras. Kung maalala niyo po, si dating Mayor Atienza ay may buong 1 araw, halos buong 1 araw nung nakaraang huling araw ng March 22, bago po tayo mag-adjourn. At siya'y bumalik pa po ngayon, patuloy na pagtatanong. So yun po ay mga hindi natin mababasa. Kasi po kami maghahanda, tapos maaari po mabilis ang aming presentasyon, we go direct to the point, pero pag kinross-examine na yan, pag tinanong ng Senator Judges, hindi po namin control at hindi namin sila pwedeng pigilan magtanong.
Sir, doon sa sinasabi ni Congressman Colmenares na dapat huwag na ipatawag ang Justice Secretary.
Maganda yung katanungan ninyong yon. Bayahan niyo pong paliwanag ko. Yung manifestation po niya, again with all due respect to Congressman Colmenares, gusto siguro niya mag-share ng thoughts niya, that's why he manifested. Pero po, we have to understand, nung nag-manifest siya, ay na-resolve na ng Senate as impeachment court. Sabi nga ng Senado, sabi nila, nag-issue na nga kami ng subpoena Ano ba yan? Is that in the nature of a motion for reconsideration? Yun ang katanungan sa kanya. So maaari nga inilabas lang muna or hiningan niya ang kanyang nararamdaman, pero po hindi nun mababago ang ruling ng Senate as an impeachment court. Ano pa yung ruling? Nahaharap ang Secretary ng Department of Justice as our witness. Yun po ay napakaliwanag. Kaya nga po nung tinanong ang depensa, sabi, sino ba sa depensa gusto magsalita? Tumayo si Attorney Joel Botigon. At sinabi ni Attorney Joel Botigon, tapos na po ito. At siguro po itong tinatanong ninyo as to the purposes is mas appropriate po pag pinisinta na po yung testigo. Yun po yan.
Nakapagpresenta na kami ng 5 testigo. Sa loob ng holding room, meron pa siguro kami mga 4 na testigong nag-aantay. Lima yung tapos, Ako. Surprise witness.
Surprise? Ayaw ho namin nagsusurprise kami, totoo, pinipilit nyo kami minsan, pangalan, pagpasensyahan nyo na kami minsan na hindi namin nabibigay kasi ganun ho yung policy namin sa depensa. Gusto namin makita ng tao yung testigo pag lumabas siya. Ayaw namin na susuriin siya bago siya umupo sa witness stand. Kasi ayaw namin maapektuhan rin siya. Opo. Pag sinabi po natin at least, ay hindi po bababa sa 10. Okay. So, pwede po, sabi mo, pwede po ba 13? Pwede po. Pwede po ba 14? Pwede po. Pwede po ba 17? Pwede po. Kasi po, at least 10 po. Ay, hindi naman po siguro. Hindi naman po siguro.
Yan po ang press conference ng defense panel at pinapaliwanag pa rin po nila ang kanilang interpretasyon at kanilang posisyon sa mga nangyari.